Hi friends, today we are going to see a very important topic, especially who are in operations, troubleshooting, kind of activities in cloud. So today's white paper series, we're going to see change management in the cloud. So this is a recent white paper which I felt very interesting because in operations we used to do this process, change management, incident management, problem management, RCA, root cause analysis, a lot of things are there. So basically, change management comes into the picture when we're going to do any downtime or any scheduled activity. If there is an incident and we need to upgrade something or patch something, so change management keeps the track of all the changes happening in our infrastructure. So this is in general. Let's go into the white paper and see what AWS suggests as or give best practices for change management in the cloud. Let's go in detail and see uh, what are the topics in this change management white paper. And if you see this white paper, it's around 20 pages. And it's not much because when we see other white papers, it's 80 pages, 100 pages. This white paper, I suggest, I will give this white paper in the link. If someone who's relevant to uh, this cloud computing platform and you are a change manager or you are an incident manager, have a look into this white paper of how you can make the best practice. Let's see. So basically here we talks about here the paper talks about ITL process. So ITL V3, I even personally certified in ITL V3 in 2012. So it's basically IT infrastructure related uh, best practice or framework. So here we're going to see what is ITIL, AWS Cloud Adaption Framework, change management in ITIL, change management in cloud, configuration item in cloud, automation, remediation, adopting change management to the cloud, service transition, reliability, and then finally conclusion. So basically, there is nothing special in change management in cloud because when we say ITL is something we followed in on premises as well. But let's go into detail because many people who started yearly 2020 2021 directly into cloud, you guys may not have a chance to understand about ITL process. So the abstract of this white paper is like every business function, change management should as an enabler for your organization to succeed. Change management is key because it ensures downtime of your application health. Because if you plan any activity, all the tracks will be in the change tickets, and it will benefit during migration of the cloud. And you have hybrid environment with on-premises and cloud. So also change management enables agility and reduce time to the market because you basically schedule the change depends on your customer and depends on the development. Even the deployment can be a change ticket. It ensures the resources delivery business values, reduces failed changes, helps to ensure delivery the business. So basically in this session, the first para talks about why we need a change management or why we need a change. So I assume here most of you are aware of change management or change ticket. But if you are new to change management and change ticket, please do comment so we can talk about that. Later, what are different scenarios we need a change. But here in high level, change management in IT helps us to basically track all the different things happening in the infrastructure when we schedule something. For example, I'm going to reboot a server, then I can reboot the server tomorrow and I need a change ticket because it goes for an approval. The change ticket must be approved by a cab or a change coordinator who ensures there is no other changes is happening. But at the same case, no, if you are having an incident and due to that incident you want to reboot the server, it's fine. Then they have different kinds of change, emergency change, which you can have immediately, then normal change and standard change. Standard change is kind of no approval change. All this we can talk in detail. Let's see if this paper covers it. If not, we can discuss if you are new to change management. So here, research has found highly performed terms of deployment lead time to for change failure rate. So basically three things: deployment, installation of a new, lead time for change, how much time it takes for you to change. It takes 4 hours, 5 hours, that need to be tracked. And many cases when you deploy it will also get failed due to technical reasons, server is not compatible, then you need to roll back. So in case of failure, you have a track what has happened and what you solved. So these are three highly frequent scenarios correlated with version control, continuous delivery, and automated testing. So basically, when we do the testing, 90% it can fail, and that can be tracked in change. How many tests it took for the final product to come out. Continuous delivery is nothing but your deployment to the servers. Version control is nothing but your commits. You write a code and then you commit it. So as I mentioned, ITIL, which I V3 in my previous slide, but ITIL 4 is something they have put into this white paper. High Velocity IT XLOS 2020, page 89. So, so some ITIL V4 they have referred to the page 89 and they're going to discuss about it. This paper discussed change management, cloud adoption framework, and the well architected framework in the context of applying governance to deploying changes to your AWS web services, which Amazon web services. So basically, governance. What is governance? Someone knows what is happening or what kind of changes you are doing. Like you have three servers, suddenly there's a fourth server, but how you know why the fourth server is created, right? So that is where this change management is coming into the picture. Let's see. Now let's go into the introduction. So in cloud computing, new iteration. So I'm just going in a speed, and I will just. They try to tell you that today's cloud computing world is very faster and agile. Like when we say agile, every day you can do a change. The successful organization needs to have this agility in cloud rather than waterfall model. What is waterfall model or methodology? Is like step by step process. You code it, you build it, you install it. But in agile process, everything goes goes very fast. So that makes lot of releases. Every day you deploy many versions or many applications, or every day you test many things. So how you can achieve that? Previously we were writing a code which has like 200 lines, 300 lines. Now we stick into new frameworks, no, like kind of microservices, kind of architecture. So make frequent deployment. So if you do a small change, even you try to change a small code for some coloring particle of your web page or something, try to deploy it. Don't make lot of changes and then deploy. So that's something, it's very important. And small, frequent small changes, reversible changes, this is very important. You need to deploy frequently so that you will have a version with minimal small changes, and if that deployment getting failed, you can reverse the minimal change. For example, when you design the application like 10 lambda services, 2 API gateways, and you deploy it, then you need to find out where which lambda function or which is not created. But you can first deploy one lambda function and then two and then three and then four. Eventually your code also get mature. So that is very good point here. Even in my project, we are trying to make this as an best practice to make frequent small reversible changes. So when we do this, what happens? We have some best practices for operating your workloads. Operation is the key here. So when you deploy new services, software, patches, configurations, all changes automated. They should still be governed by the change process. Now we automate everything, like we do infrastructure as a code, Terraform. No, we do just Jenkins pipeline to deploy. But governance is something which your project management team or project manager or no, they like the operations team, infrastructure team. If you are banking, then they need for audit purpose. That is where the change management comes from. So in the cloud, you enable the governance through policies and automation with the complete audit trail of deployment. So audit trial is how many deployments you did, how many versions you did, how frequent you did. So these are some kind of, or who did this deployment, why it is failed. All this should be audited. You can also preserve agility, depenalizing the rollback of failed changes. Yeah. So again, you can roll back to the previous version, and no, you have tested something, it is rolled back. Regular, scheduled, and unscheduled changes should flow through an unchanged pipeline that ensures all your best practices are met implementing in a change in production. What does mean by unchanged pipeline? So you need to schedule a change uh, to deploy. If you are not, you don't need to create new pipelines or new things. It's all should be, even the failure should be tracked, even the success should be tracked. Different policies and procedures should exist for emergency changes or changes that require manual process during the deployment. So altogether, the policies is not same for all the changes. As I said, emergency change, standard change, and normal change. These are three different changes. Let's go into the ITIL process. The framework managed by Axelos Limited defined as an internal organized best practices for IT services management. But people call it as ITSM, IT service management. And when I joined 10 years ago, when it was on premises, this ITL and ITSM is very mandatory for anyone who joins in the operations or infrastructure 24 by 7 monitoring. So there is a different steps. The first, and each step has a certificate, and there is five steps basically. These five steps as an independent certification also, like ITIL service design certified, ITIL operation design certified. The first certification which I took was ITIL foundation. So this is kind of people who into heavily into ITSM. But now we are into DevOps. When we say DevOps, each one of us also contribute in operations. So here, on those days, we felt like only infrastructure and operation people needs to learn about it. Now it is not at all like case. Every DevOps engineer also uh, understands or also needs to understand operation best practices and what are the framework is available for operation best practices. And that is where we are now. The first ITL process is service strategy. The service strategy state of ITL service lifecycle is crucial for defining an IT service strategy that operates effectively within its business context. Like, what is your business strategy? What strategy is you are going to take for your operation? Once you have the strategy, then you need to design. Okay, that is called service design. Throughout the service design stages, the service life cycle, you can turn your strategy into cost effective plan that meets both current and future business needs. So you should have a design based on the cost. So you say I want to use CloudWatch as a monitoring tool, and your customer, like your customer, is also using Azure. Then you cannot monitor using CloudWatch. Then you need a separate tool. Then we need to think about license of the tool like Dynatrace, Splunk. So we should design in a phase where keeping in the mind current business needs as well as the future business needs. Service transition. What is transition? The best practice guidance of managing service change in timely, cost effective manner with minimal disruption to operations, customers, and users and business. If you're going to do something, you're going to change a server, migrate a server, do with minimal disruption, not switching off the server and keep it downtime for 10 hours and then you come up, right? So that is where the transition is. The operation. The operation best practice on efficiently delivering the services for the benefit of customers, business, and users. Operations always covers three: business, because if something wrong in the operation, customers will also impact, user also will impact. So basically, if user has a problem, you call to the customer service, and customer service talk to the engineer, and engineer talk to the business. So that's where this is one area where people used to do lot of certification operations. Then continual service improvement. So now we delivered something, but how are we going to improve it? The next version of the application, getting the feedback from the customer, right? So best practice guidance on identifying and introducing a cycle of service management improvements, as well as structured approach for accessing the measurement services. So basically, these are the five stages of ITIL, which is very important to know. Uh, Now, AWS also helps us, or also letting us know the one more framework called CAF, which is Cloud Adaption Framework. ITIL and AWS are compatible. Like they both, like ITIL is something available in the market, but AWS tries to organize a framework with which work for AWS and describes all the activities and process involving in planning, creating, managing, and supporting the modern IT services. It offers practical guidance and comprehensive guidance for establishing, developing, and running cloud-based IT companies. The AWS CIF organized guidance into six areas focus called perspectives. So now AWS is using the CIF, right? Now we can like you can also say that I am using CIF framework for my change management, but this actually referred by ITL from AWS, and they gives six different perspective. Let's see what are the six different perspective we have: business, people, governance, platform, security, and operation. This is very easy to remember. Any change management will have, definitely will have business, people to approve, governance is the key, platform, security, and operations. Let's see what is business. Helps you to move from separate strategies for business and IT to business model that integrates IT strategy. Basically, agile IT strategy or aligned to support. So agile IT strategy. People, HR, personal management team for cloud adoption, staff skills, and organization to include cloud-based competency. You should have people certified in AWS or Google or basic knowledge about cloud computing. So competent people on cloud. Governance integrates IT governance and organizational governance. It provides guidance as identifying and implementing best practices for IT and supporting business process with technology. So governance, you should keep in mind, it's not only IT governance, it's also an organization governance. Platform help you to design, implement, optimize the architectures of AWS technology based on the business goals and objectives. It helps provide strategic guidance for the design principle, tools, and policies you use. So, yeah, platform is nothing but your AWS services. Security helps you to structure the selection and implementation of controls. Following this guidance, you can make it easy to identify the areas which is non-compliant and plan ongoing security. This is very, 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 very key area because a lot of jobs are going to happen in the security, IT, information security, or security architect, security champions. So security is going to, even in DevOps, it's going to be DevSecOps. Operations help you to run, use, operate, and recover IT workloads to levels that meet the requirement of your business stakeholders. Basically, operations take care everything, running an application, and keeping it healthy. So AWS CIF is an important supplement to ITSM framework used today because it provides enterprises with practical operational advice for implementing and operating ITSM in the cloud-based IT infrastructure. So here we see high level of ITSM, right? Like when I say ITL, there's five stages, and we are not going in detail into five stages. Same way, when we talk about CIF, Cloud Automation Framework, or the AWS framework, which also have six stages, but here we are not going into detail. So they provided this link for the AWS Cloud Adaption Framework. So I said automation, but it's adaptation framework. Here we have a separate page why we need to have cloud adaptation framework and how we can improve. All the 6 areas we discussed were here, and also they have given some customer use cases who have implemented this and got benefit out of this framework in their organization. So basically, they say reduce business risks, improve environment, grow revenues, more and more kind of change management. It's not technical, but it's very useful for architects, managers, project leads to understand the business and reduce the risk. So now change management in ITIL. So we saw what is ITIL and what is CIF Cloud Adaption Framework, but ITIL change management. So in any environment, a good change management process should deliver the business value while protecting the business by balancing the risks to the business value. So I don't want to go through everything, but the change management itself is not different from your on premises. So change management in cloud basically has minimizing the possibility of human error, because change management will have implementation step, rollback step, and it also have uh, so basically you will need to mention all the steps in that change management change ticket, enabling the creation of identical environments for predictable and testable outcomes of changes. So basically the change management will ask, have you do the test reports, have you tested it? So for test we need to have identical environment called UAT or pre-prod environment before you deploy the application to prod or production. Basically removing the requirement to submit the changes to scale infrastructure to meet the business demand. So removing the requirement, kind of when you get a new demand, you need to scale your infrastructure, and if you submit, if you have multiple changes, basically the change ticket will ensures like no, you should raise a change ticket. I need 4 GB of RAM, like 4 to 20 GB of RAM. That will show the demand of your business, automatically recovering from failure and rollback failing. So basically when you say automatic failure, automatic recovery of failure, the change ticket here helps us to know what is being deployed, so that we can able to roll back, because everything is in the change ticket, what version you're going to deploy. So it, but automatic deploy, maybe the change management tool can be service now integrated with Jenkins or DevOps tool, which eventually also help in rollback. Okay, so no, automatic rollback is one process where everyone is focusing right now. What AWS offers as a change management tool? AWS have system manager, change manager. Like system manager is one tool, which one service which has many compatibility, like it does many things. But one of that, if you are interested to know about system manager, just do comment so I can do a live demo. But for now, the system manager have one feature called change manager. It simplifies the way of requesting the change ticket, approve it. Once it is approved, implement it and report an operational changes to your application configuration and infrastructure of AWS and both on premises. So it takes care of both on premises. With change manager you can use pre-approved change workflows to avoid no intentional results of operations, which is kind of standard change. Change manager helps you to safely implement the changes while directing this change schedule conflict. Like whoever is approving, he should see like is there a conflict between two people. So he is also going to change, do the some deployment or reinstallation, or he is also going to do something. So he can actually keep a track of everyone and ensures there's no big break in the system. Change managers, change reports. You can monitor the progress, audit. No, so basically exactly it does what ServiceNow is doing. But this is this, as I said, the change system manager itself have many features, like automation is one feature. It also have incident management feature. So AWS does some automation based on this change ticket, and how this automation works, and this is a separate topic. But you if you are not following any change management tool and you are running only with AWS, then you have this tool called Change Manager. And if you see the pricing, so it doesn't price. It doesn't praise like kind of like fixed cost. It is kind of an for example ops center. Let's see for the change manager how much it costs, parameter store. These are different services which, so the pricing is they one request number of changes, so 0.26 per change request, get, describe, update, get off summary, API request. So basically to do some automation, so it's 0.03 per thousand requests. It is not so huge because this is uh, keeping your entire audit log of your infrastructure and managing it, right? So this is not so expensive because anyway you need to have a tool with license with infrastructure, and here we no need to have infrastructure, we no need to have license. So comparatively it is good, but depends on how much change you are doing. If you are changing your changes a lot right now, then I think the price might go high. A new account change can also feature 30 days with no additional. So they are giving a trying out. You can try it out for 30 days, and then if you see very good, then you will get lot of things. No lot of thing with your change management console. So coming back to our topic, so here I'm going to conclude, like when we talk about automation, change configuration, remediation, all this our follow up and follow up of the change management process. Here what we have learned today from this white paper, basically customer is us who is using AWS. AWS is only responsible for the software which is AWS having, like compute, storage, database, network, EC2, regions, availability zones. But our application, they are not responsible. It's called shared responsibility model. Like you cannot completely rely on AWS. So that is called AWS shared responsibility model for security. The shared responsibility model says like the data, customer data, we should operate or we should make it secure. Platform, application, identity and access management. In case you are using EC2s, then your AMIs, VPC, security groups, all the configuration, if you are not configuring in the right way, then AWS is not going to help us in any way. So you should keep in mind shared responsibility model, operations, incident management, and change management is something we need to keep track of our AWS infrastructure. If you are an architect and project manager, even the engineers, DevOps engineers should be aware of this kind of changes. And we have many different tools like CloudWatch does dashboard monitoring, no, give you application insights. So these are some ways we do monitoring to find the issue. And reliability comes with well architected framework. Well architected framework have five pillars. Reliability is one of it, security, cost optimization, and then scalability. So if you want to talk, if you don't know about well architected review, just you also comment so that I can make a separate video. But well architected review is something we used to do to our find our reliability of application by evaluating with some question and answers, like you do you have disaster recovery, how much load you have, how much testing you are doing. So I'm not going in detail into it. And the conclusion is automation, integration, deployment tools in cloud allow business to take small frequent changes to avoid the business risk. And change process should be adapted and reflect the change. Increase amount of change, reduce this. For changes that do not take advantage of automation, consider rollback. The change process should remain as is. Process won't change even it is manual or automated. Finally, it always worth to consider the business impact and risk of not implementing the change or introducing the delay, remembering that the purpose of managing change is optimism. So you should see the impact when you say you are approving this change, how much impact this will happen to your business. And if they are doing something in production, if it is small frequent is fine. If they are completely changing their application, then what happens if that is not working and you want to roll back to your previous version? Will that work? All kind of this testing should be happen in UAT, then you approve the change for production. So we learned what is change management in ITIL and then AWS cloud Adaption framework, CAF, and also we learnt about this right system managers has this change manager module or feature into it if you want to use track and do changes within AWS environment. So hope you guys got some overview of change management in the cloud. Have a nice day. Thank you guys.